Hello and welcome guys, and in this tutorial video we're going to be looking at how to brute force web directories. So I'm going to be using basically about 3 to 4 tools, depends on how far I want this video to go. So firstly we're going to start off with doing an if config, and here I've got a lot of Ethernet connection. So I've got it 0, I've got ton 0, which is actually a VPN connection. But the virtual machine we're going to be looking at is actually on this network. So the first thing to do is, I don't have the IP address, but in order to scan the IP address, we can use a tool called Net Discover. So we do Net Discover -R, and then I give it the network address of my machine, which in this case is 192.168.87.0. Then I have to put the CIDR/24 because this is a class C IP address. So /24 will scan for the first 255 IP addresses on this network. So he's asking me for my password there. So I'm just going to pop in my password. And you can see it's identified various IP addresses. So this is the broadcast address. This is probably my gateway address. And then this is the so network address, broadcast address, and the gateway address. But the IP address that is quite unique here is this one ending in 130. So I'm just going to end the scan. We could do a ping, or we could do an nmap scan. Just a quick nmap scan, and we can see port 80 is open, 2221 on this IP address. So I'm just going to go straight away for port 80 because we're doing scanning of a web application. And we got the King Kong web application. So we've got a web page. However, we don't know if there are any, hidden directories, or there are any directories on this in this web application, on this web server. So in order to do that, we could use derb. I'm just going to type in derb, and we can see it puts us into a web page, a help page, and this is the syntax we need. So derb, the URL you want to scan, and the word list. If you don't provide a word list, derb will just use the default one. So let's have a look at that. So derb and the URL, so that'll be HTTP. And there we go. So you can see anywhere we have a 200 shows there's a web application. So you can open this. So we've got a /blog. And you can see we've got a blog here, a blog post. We've got webdav prompting us for, so you can see so I'm just going to cancel this for now. This is the initial one we found. We got /documents, which is another open document web application. So this is quite simple. I'm just going to end this here because you will keep going. However, you could use a word list if you want. So you can do derb. If we go back to the start here, we'll see derb is actually using this word list from the initial scan as a default word list. So you can change this word list by going to this directory. So let's have a look at this directory here. So could do cd to this directory list, And we've got different, we've got big, we've got common.txt, and that's the deb word list. If you go onto the share and word list, the other word list you could use is rocku.txt, but the preferred one, which most people use, is debbuster. So we do cd debbuster list, and you can see the other ones you could use to enumerate Apache servers, directories, directory list, medium. So there are quite a lot of ones you could use, and all you have to do is just specify deb deb the URL and then the directory. So you have to give it the full path of the directory. So in this case, we could say URL share word lists the buster, and then you can just specify the word list you want to use. Click on enter to generate the word list and do the same thing, and probably find more directories depending on how big or unique the word list is. Okay, so another tool we could use is GoBuster. And here you can see GoBuster, they supply the word list as well as a URL. But there's far more things you could do with GoBuster. So let's see if we've got the help page. And on the help page, we've got different parameters we could use. If you want to brute force an authentication, you could use password, provide a username. If you're looking for certain file extensions, you could use the -x to look for certain extensions. So let's say, for instance, in our initial scan, we did using deb. Here we can say GoBuster. And what's the one for the URL? So that's -u. Provide the word list. So say USR user share / word lists / deb / common the txt, for instance, and then we can use the x parameter to say probably we're looking for PHP, comma, we're looking for .html, then spell that correctly. So it's GoBuster. Yep, and there we go. Scanning for, and you can see it's finding directories such as blog, cars, documents, files, and index.html. So it's actually finding directories and also looking for directories with this extension. Okay. So we've seen that. Another tool we could use is called debbuster itself, which is a graphical user interface. So if you click on debbuster, um, an application opens up. So we can supply the URL, which we http so we're using Ctrl V for that. Because we actually brute force in the port 80, you could just leave this as, without the port 80. Increase the number of threads. So we want to brute force directories, brute force files. Be recursive if you want it to actually, after finding the directory, then go into the directory and also enumerate to see if there are other files inside the directory. So you could highlight, you could take that off and also specify the extensions you want. So in this case, HTML. So you're saying the directory to start with is this, and here is where you have to specify the word list. If you click on browse, you could actually go into browse here and select the word list you want to use, or simply if you click on list info, you can have a list of a word list that you might want to use, or simply just go into that same directory we went earlier, which is cd usr slash share slash word lists, and we could go to cd debuster list and medium. Okay, so I'll just copy this, paste that in here, make changes to everything looks all right, and we just click on start. Sorry, you can open the file in the list. So let's get rid of the first one there, see what happens. Nope. Probably have to put that back in, click on start, and everything seems fine now, so he's happy now. And it goes on to start, so you could use any of this. You can see it's found these directories, CGI bin, files, documents, doc, and you can see the response. The ones that actually have to be authenticated, probably having 403, 200, and we could stop that here. So that's how you use. So you've got 3 tools you could use depending on what suits you best and depending on how fast each of those tools work. So it's up to you which one you think is best for you. Another tool which probably you might use in some circumstances is W4s. So I'm just going to go type in W4s here and look for some documentation. Okay, and you can see here you could use W4s to force for a web. You can use it as a web fuzzer to force for web application directories. So in this kind of scenario, you can see here's the syntax. So you supply a word list and then you supply. So let's just go straight away to that. So if we use W4s, if we type in W4s, we get a page on how to go about this. So we could type in H for the stuff. So let's do that. W4s-H, get a help. So C for output colors, Z for the payload of the file we want to use, W if you want to use a word list, and what else do we need? I think U is for the URL. So we could do W4s -C for color, -Z, I think file, comma, supply the word list, which is USR share word list /deb. And here we use common.txt for instance. What else do we need? U, and then the IP address of the web URL. So put in HTTP there. Because we are looking for web directories, you have to put in the word false at the end of this. So if everything works well, if I've got everything right, we should be able to brute force. And you can see it's giving us a lot of 404s. So what we could do in this scenario is we can end this, clear screen. Let's go back to the W4's help. So here we could hide certain responses, or we could say show responses with a specified code. So what we could do here is we could do in our syntax, we could say show code 200. Now you can see it's showing us the 200s in green column. So it's found index. We know that's there because that's the first page. And it's brute forcing for web directories. So depending on the words in the words in the word list, and you can see it didn't quite find much. Let's see if we could change this word list to that of Buster. Okay, so this is the one I want. Medium. Put that in here and see if this finds more than you can see. So straight away is jumping into the business. We've got index. See if we can find more. So we're saying only 200. Remember, we have some pages in the previous one we looked at that had probably 401, 403. So this will not show those web pages with those 401, 402 unless we add it into our syntax. So let's do that. Oops. Think that I must have broken that. Anyway, I think you get the idea of how this works. So any of these tools can be used to scan for web directories or brute force web directories whenever you come across a web application. So I hope you enjoyed that, guys, and see you next time.